because self-employed without a schedule is really unemployed. So as the employer, this is where once you've got the burning desire, the next thing is you have to have a definite game, like chief aim. You got to have a game plan. Like, what's your game plan? And so the game plan, the beautiful thing is you get with somebody like Tyler that's killing this, that gets his business, and you say, hey, this is my goal. Well, this business, you can reverse engineer it. So now you get the game plan. So as the employer, you sit back and you design the schedule around the goals that you want to have, that you need to have. So you reverse engineer, this is my schedule. And for me, like, a lot of people, they as much as they say they want to run their own schedule and be their own boss and have autonomy over what they do, when they do it, the truth is they don't have the discipline to do it, like to actually discipline themselves to do it. And so what I told myself is, like, when I worked for an employer, I like knowing what to do and when to do it. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't change that or I couldn't adjust that, but I like to know what a successful day looked like. Like, if you said you got to go dig out, these two leach lines and you got to get it done in this certain time period, I like that because I liked at the end of the day feeling like I did a good job. Like, and if you think about most people, a lot of their life is spent in their career. And so, you want to feel good about what you're doing. And so I realized early on, like, man, I got to be a lot better with giving her clarity on what a good job is, like when she's winning and when she's not winning. And we have to do the same thing for ourselves. So as an employer, you craft the schedule. And then the great news is the next morning when you wake up, it's just the employee now. Now the employee just has to go to work. Now you just have to execute. And then at the end of the day, the employee and the employer, you guys kind of get together and you say, hey, based off of what I did today, would I promote myself or would I fire myself? And then if you have too many days that you're like, dude, I would have fired myself. Like, I didn't execute. I said I was going to dial from, 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And I didn't. I dialed from like 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Like, would you be able to do that if you worked a job? The answer is no. So in my mind, I'd always kind of play this trick, Tyler, where it was like, if I had, you know, somebody say, hey, Paul, I'm going to give you $40,000 a month in income, but this is what you have to do. You have to dial from this time to this time. You have to get on the conference calls. When you're on the conference calls, you need to take notes at your training. You got to read a book a month. You got to read 10 pages a day in a good book. You got to have affirmations. These affirmations you got to speak. This is kind of like getting your game face in your mind right to go out there and perform at the highest level, the best version of you each day. You got to do some three things you're grateful for every morning. I need you to really kind of meditate on this vision of where we're going. I want you to kind of ruminate on this every single day for about 5 to 10 minutes. I want you to speak your affirmations out loud. Midday, I want you to take a little break. When you go to eat lunch, I want you to spend 30 minutes listening to this training. This is going to help really kind of reiterate what you're doing and how you should be doing it. And so that way you get a good picture of what it looks like to do an excellent presentation. And because you've already done some, you'll be able to kind of see like what you should tweak and adjust to get better, right? You got to do that. And then, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you're going to be doing some recruiting. You're going to send out some DMs on Instagram. This is what you're going to do. And at 4 o'clock, like if I gave you the whole schedule and I said, I'm going to pay you $50,000 a month in income, how many of you would just not show up to the office at 8 o'clock or 7? Like, I think everybody, oh, I would do that. Of course I would. Then why aren't you doing it for yourself? And the reality is, if you do that, like, it's a recipe. Like, it leads to $50,000 a month in income. Like, I had I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people that I've worked with, firsthand over the last 20 years that have made over $50,000 a month in income. And it's not rocket science. If we interviewed them, and that was the benefit that I had, was to fly to a lot of these different states and do these top producer panels, and I'd ask them questions, and what you'd be left with is all these clues and commonalities of what all these top producers did. And then you would be like, oh, they all do the same thing. What do? They do what we're talking about. They run a very disciplined schedule that's a non-negotiable, and they treat it as if they're making $50,000 a month plus an income. And if they don't do it, they're going to lose their job, because self-employed without a schedule is really unemployed.